This video is going to teach you how to form and solve worded equations. Now, these here will come up on a foundation paper. This goes out to secondary school children. And this could be on a foundation paper towards the back of the paper where the questions are harder. Or it would be at the beginning of a higher paper, I should imagine. So we're going to go straight to it. Form an expression to show these. So you've got to form an expression. Now, if you remember, an expression does not have an equal sign. Okay, so if I said to you, I want 3 more, then y. To put that into an expression, it's going to be y plus 3. Okay? That's what that means. So, here we go. 5 more than x. And it's 5 more than x. So, we're going to put x plus 5. So just like that one. So the key words here is more than. More than means you add. So if we move over to this one, it says 2 less than y. 2 less than y. So that would be y subtract 2. Okay? Third one, it just says twice a. So what should we do? Twice is a 2. I hope you all know that. And an a. Really is that easy. Twice a is 2a. Twice b would be 2b. Twice c would be 2c. 7 times b. Well, come on guys, we know what times means, it's multiply. But we don't write it like that, do we? In algebra, we write it like that. Because that means to times. When they're stuck together in algebra, it's telling you you've got to times it, you've got to multiply it. So if I had something like the same question, but with 10 times c, the answer would be 10c. And then we've got 1/3 of w. 1/3 of w. Well, 1/3. Yep, of w. That's it. So if I said to you 1/2, yeah, I'll put this. If I said 1/2, oh, I've done it the wrong way, haven't I? Sorry. Let's rub that out. So if I put 1/2 of t, the answer will be 1/2. Break it down. You don't have to look at it as one whole word, one whole sentence. Break it down. 1/2. There's your 1/2 of t. So do it in 2 steps. 1/3, 1/3 of w. So here we go with a little bit harder, a little bit more to think about. Twice x plus 3. Twice x plus 3. Well, there's 2 bits of information there. That's twice x. Now we know what twice a is. It's 2a. So twice x is 2x plus 3. Come on, we know that. That's not rocket science, guys. So there's 2 steps there. 2x plus 3. Next one. 4 times y minus 7. So let's break it down. 4 times y. We know that when we times, it sticks together. 4y. So that's what 4 times y is in algebra. Remember, we've got it up there. And we know what minus 7 looks like. Next one. Half of a subtract 6. Half of a subtract 6. So half of a half subtract 6. Now, I've just read that wrong. It's half of A, as in A as a letter. So that in algebra, so that should be A there. So be careful, actually, when questions come out like that, because that could be misinterpreted, just as I did. Subtract 6. So half of A, subtract 6. Next one, B shared by 3 add 1. So B shared by 3 add 1. So when it's shared, think of a fraction. So when you see shared, think of a fraction. You'll come across lots of fractions with the word shared in, especially in probability questions. That's something I will go over because that can be quite tricky. So shared is a fraction. So B shared by 3, which is a fraction, is going to be 1/3 B add 1. Okay. So B shared by 3. Look at it as a fraction. So it's going to be 1/3 because there's no other numbers there. It's just shared by 3, which is 1/3. Okay. And then finally, W plus 5 divided by 2. W plus 5 divided by 2. So I would do W plus 5. And we know that's that. Our line is our divided by 2. That's it. So I think the only one there where you'd have to really think about it is D, because shared isn't a straightforward word unless you've learned other topics. Okay, so now we're going on to the exam style questions. Now, these can be tricky to people that really do not enjoy word problems. So I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible, and hopefully you should grasp it. So it may sound simple how I'm explaining it to some people, but for people on foundation paper or high sets primary school, probably need a little bit more help. Okay, so whenever you see these questions, you should think straight away algebra. And we know what algebra is. It's anything with letters and numbers, isn't it? This is algebra. This is algebra. But all of this, what we've just been taught there, is going to come into play, but in worded questions. So I think of a number, I multiply it by 4 and subtract 3. If my answer is 33, calculate the number I started with. So what we're going to do is think of algebra. So let's take a step at a time. I'd multiply it by 4 and subtract 3. I'd multiply it by 4 and subtract 3. So the number, I think of a number. We don't know what that number is, so we're going to call it X. So we're going to call it X. I multiply it by 4, so that's 4x. and I subtract 3, which is -3. Everybody happy? So when we think of a number, it could be any letter you want. It doesn't have to be X, but we use X and Y a lot in algebra. But I think of a number, X, I multiply it by 4 and subtract 3. So there we go. That's the first bit. If my answer is 33, so our answer has got to be 33. Now you've done basic algebra with me, so I won't go into all that. You understand that when that's a negative and you take it over the equal sign, so we've got to get X on its own, it's going to turn into a plus. So we've got 4X equals 33 plus 3. So bringing it over the equal side. Which then gives us 36. And this is where we do our division. So we're going to divide this 4. Put a 4 then, I shouldn't have done. I'm going to go X equals 36 divided by 4. So we now know that X equals 9. So the number that we started with is 9. So it's all reversing. It's all sort of, you're giving your answer. So you've got to work out what you started with. So we started the opposite way. So it's like reverse. So the answer is 9. You may need to go back, rewrite this till it sinks in. So I think of a number. What letter do you want to choose? Let's go for a Y. My number I'm thinking of is, my unknown is Y. I add 8 and half it. So let's deal with this sentence first. So I've got Y. I add 8 and half it. Do you agree with that statement? So that's my Y, my number I think of. I added 8 and half it. So I've divided it by 2. And my answer is 16. So equals 16. So I haven't left much room. So I'm going to now go over to this bit. So what you do now is, if you've watched my other videos on fractions, you know you have to times that out now. Because remember, the aim of the game is still to get whatever our letter is, which is Y. We've got to think of that number. We've got to get that Y. So it's going to be Y plus 8 equals 32. So now it looks normal, a normal algebra question like that. So now we've got to take that 8 over to 32. So Y equals 32. Subtract 8, because that's a plus. Then Y equals 24. So the number I started with is 24. Okay. Next one. Joseph is X years old. So it's actually telling you what letter they wanted to use. So Joseph is X years old. It's asking you to find X as well. So that's X. Joseph is X. In fact, I'm actually going to write it all out, this one, so there's no misinterpretations. I really want you to get these questions. So Joseph, I'm going to put J for Joseph, is X. His brother is 2 years older. So his brother, B, is 2 years older. So it's going to be whatever Joseph is, plus 2. His dad is 3 times his age. So his dad is 3 times Joseph's age. So we'll put D for dad equals 3x, because we know that in algebra, when we multiply, it sticks to that letter. That means 3 times x. The total of their ages is 82. Now we know that that's got to go at the end of our algebra question, the equation to solve. So we're going to go put it all together like we did it there. So we've got x plus x plus 2. You see some people put them in brackets to split it up, but I don't do that. Plus 3x equals 82. So now we've got 1x plus 2x plus 3x. So we've got 4 lots of x's plus 2 equals 82. Now, as you can see, even though the way it was written is a little bit more complex, we eventually still get the same outcome as we have it there, just algebra. It's just a few extra steps. So now we've got 4x equals 82, subtract 2, because that's a plus, which leaves us with 80. And we need to divide 4 into 80. So x equals 16. So it's asking us to find x, and we have just found x. So we know that Joseph is 16 years old. I hope that's helped. It can be very tricky worded questions. But yeah, keep looking at these kind of questions. There's plenty of websites out there. There's Corbett Maths. Who else is there? Maths Genie's a good one as well. It's got loads of exam questions and videos on there. So, you know, you don't just have to look at mine. There's plenty out there. Just type in 4 minute solve